Hey movers, I am focused specifically on my mama clients today. If you're expecting, you've got lots of aches and pains, lots of extra tension, your body is changing, and you're probably pretty uncomfortable. So I'm gonna walk you through some stretches that are safe and effective for you while you're carrying new life. So let's get started. We're gonna start very first with the back stretch. I know most pregnant women suffer from pain in their back, and this is a completely safe stretch that will have you feeling so much better. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start on your knees with your hips right on top of your knees. You're gonna put those hands on your ball and then just kind of stretch forward and let your neck and chin go down towards your chest. Stretching, let your head drop in between your arms. Then instead of using your core to bring yourself back up, go back to your bottom, roll it towards you, breathe, go back up to that position, roll it out, take those hips back, breathe into it for about 30 seconds, releasing, and back up. This next stretch is one that I adopted while pregnant and have been using it ever since, because even once your little one comes, you're gonna be carrying so much tension in your neck. So here's our neck stretch. You're gonna take your right arm and tilt your head and neck to the right side, focusing on really stretching out this area, these tendons. You're gonna hold it, keeping those shoulders pressed down and breathing. Then you're gonna rotate to the middle, taking both arms, gently pressing the back of your head to elongate that spine and really stretch out that neck, holding it for 30 seconds, then going to that left side, pulling, focusing on these ligaments right here, stretching. And if it suits you, you can also look up and just make sure you're keeping those shoulders pressed down nicely. Next up, we have our chest stretch. It's gonna relieve tension in your chest and your upper back. So putting a mat under your knees for comfort, the backs of your feet are gonna be pressed against the ground. You're going to go down to your bottom, curl over with your arms. Then we're gonna lift up, take those arms and spread them to our chest is to the sky. We're all the way open. I often feel my sternum pop. And we're gonna breathe. And then we're gonna go right back down to the ground. Lifting up through those legs, circling back. Extending backwards is not bad for your belly. As long as you're not having to use your core to kind of retract, you're okay. It doesn't hurt the baby to extend like that. It doesn't hurt your body to extend like that. It's good to spread those muscles out. Up next, we just have your basic shoulder stretch. You're gonna take that left arm across your body and pull. Pulling sideways. You should feel a nice long stretch through the outside of your shoulder. Then we're gonna take the other arm and pull. Then we're gonna take that original arm, put it overhead, take that elbow and pull it down. You should feel this out the back of your arms and through the tops of your shoulders. Switching arms, taking that right arm, bending it, left arm in front of that elbow, and pushing it back. For our next stretch, we have the abdominal stretch. And you'll hear that and go, oh no, I shouldn't do that, I'm pregnant. It's actually a really good idea to stretch out those muscles and all those ligaments and really just all that tension that you've been carrying in your core. Give it a break and release it. It's not damaging, it's not painful. We're not gonna be using those muscles to contract. We're just giving them a little break, to be honest. So this is our abdominal stretch. You're going to find your anchor leg, which is your leg, holding the majority of your body weight. I'm gonna start with my left and I'm up. Then I'm gonna take my right foot and put it at my left knee. I'm gonna stand up, not really stand up. I'm gonna elevate and then take one arm behind me and extend the other arm as much as possible. It's gonna feel kind of strange at first, really pressing your hips forward and stretching back as best you can. Hold it for about 15 to 30 seconds. If you ever get lightheaded, stop what you're doing and breathe. We're gonna switch those legs. So now our right leg is our anchor leg. Our left leg is going to kind of herky right next to it. Then we're gonna elevate. We're gonna take that right arm back and lift. You can even change arms if you'd like. If it feels better to lean in the other arm and extend, go for it. We're just getting a nice stretch through that core and through those hips. Okay, let's stretch those hip flexors. I know they're tight, I know they're hurting, they've been expanding. Let's give them a nice little release, all right? So you can do this on a stairwell, you can do this on the back of a chair. You're gonna hold on to the railing and then lift one leg up. Putting the other leg behind you, you're just gonna bend and stretch. You can take this knee and put it out to the side if you want. Really get a nice stretch, or just keep it forward. And then you can do the other leg as well. Nice stretch through that hip. I'm gonna open my hip. I'm gonna straighten it back out. You always wanna have something to hold on to for the safety of not falling and hurting your baby. For all my sciatica mamas out there, I too suffered from horrendous sciatica, and unfortunately, excessive movement irritates it, but correct stretching really helps. So something that I found a lot of relief in was this hip stretch. It's real simple, and you're gonna feel it. So all you're gonna do is take this front leg, I'm gonna start with my right, curling it into you, kind of like you're in sitting crisscross applesauce, but with just one leg. You're gonna square off your hips so they're facing the same direction, and let that back leg go straight behind you. If that's too tight for you, just bend it. And then what you're gonna do is, you're gonna lean forward and just hold it. You should feel a nice pull and release of tension in your front leg. It feels great for me right now. You're gonna just breathe for 30 seconds, really into it, and then switch to the next side. Next up, we have your basic leg stretch that everyone should be doing, but especially if you're pregnant, you've got cramping, you've got swelling, this is gonna feel really good. Holding something sturdy, putting the back of your foot in your palm, you're going to press this leg forward and press that foot backwards, so you're making a V. And just stretch it. The more you pull with this arm to really stretch out this thigh, the better it feels. The last one is probably my most favorite. It's something you can do during labor, something you can work through contractions with, and it's something you can do every single day, probably towards the end of the day when your body just feels like it cannot take any more pressure or weight. This is a full body stretch. You're gonna take your Bosu ball and you're gonna sit down on your feet. So your toes are touching and your bottom's on your feet. The backs of your feet are pressed nicely into the floor. Cross your arms over this ball, lift up that booty a little bit, let your chest sink into the ball, let your booty expand, and just kind of roll back and forth, letting your chin rest on that ball, going back if it feels better, forward if it feels better, stretching those knees apart if it feels better, just letting yourself rest, letting your pelvic floor rest, letting your belly rest, and just holding it. These are all great and effective stretches for when you are expecting. Your body's going through lots of changes. It's really achy. You never know what to expect from day to day, but these can relieve a lot of that pressure and help your body to feel a little more normal and a little more energized. So always, always, always check with your doctor before starting something new. Everybody's created different, shaped different. Some things work for some better than they do for others, and that's okay. But if you are having some discomfort, try this out. If it's still real intense, reach out to your doctor or physical therapist and they can get you all hooked up. I hope you enjoy this, and congrats, mama. This is a big time in your life. Enjoy it. Soak it up.